everyone. I'm here to tell you something very important. It's unfortunate that just like me, many others are going through something very similar and toxic. Let me tell you one thing: no one gets the free pass to disrespect you and your boundaries, even if you are related by blood. With that being said, I am talking about my no contact, narcissistic, blood related older sister. It's been 5 years since I cut ties with her, and life has been so good without her toxic presence. Ever since childhood, she always managed to steal my things. Let me tell you how. Every time someone offered me something, be it a gift or a job opportunity, she would jump in and say, "Oh, she's not into all these." I have lost so many opportunities because of her intervention. Every time I brought my friends home, she didn't even let me get a word in and continued chatting with them. I have heard a lot of people who would say, "But she's your sister, she's family." Or, "This often happens between siblings. It's a sign of love. She only wants the best for you." And I kept on believing and tolerated her outrageous behavior, forgiving her. Eventually, my mental health worsened to the point that I didn't even feel like getting out of bed, let alone taking a shower, having a meal, or even doing activities that I once liked but didn't do anymore. I also started binge eating. I would also have long and intense episodes of rage and sadness. I couldn't sleep at night either. I got myself checked and found out that I had borderline personality disorder. I was unemployed and had to stay over at hers. She would always manage to include, "If it wasn't for me, you would have been homeless." All right, challenge accepted. I packed my stuff and moved out. On my way out, she said, "Yeah, you're moving out. Might as well pay me for all the investment I have made to maintain you." That was the last straw. I swore to return the investment she had made in me. I was homeless, but I knew who truly had my back: my best friend. She let me stay with her for however long it took. Being a self made artist wasn't easy, it had its fair share of ups and downs. There was little success and more failure. At times, I wanted to give up, and I did. There was a long art block that I was not able to overcome. I would be inactive for days and weeks. Every failure reminded me of her calling me useless and a parasite that leeches out my resources and doesn't pay back. It wasn't just me paying back my sister. I couldn't just leech off my friends' resources as well. It took time, and eventually I became a successful artist. I paid my sister in installments. As for my bestie, I did the same because even though she didn't want it, she saw how guilty I was for overstaying my welcome. I was eventually able to convince her and repay her kindness. In case you don't know how living with BPD is, it's like sabotaging your relationships because of the fear of abandonment, among other reasons. Just a quick Google search will tell you everything you need to know. Also, do not self diagnose yourself and visit a trained professional. As I said, it's been 5 years since everything happened. I'm much better now. I still have occasional panic attacks and everything, but it's manageable. It took 4 years to make this manageable because of therapy. I have been married for 2 months and was having a really good time. Even though I was in a good relationship, I always had this feeling in the back of my mind that he will leave me one day. This feeling is a constant for everyone close to me. But somehow, I would try to convince my overthinking, partly pessimistic mind that it's all the past and it's all right now. I guess my overthinking, pessimistic mind was right. A few days ago, my estranged, no contact, narcissist, blood related toxic elder sister showed up at my door and immediately resorted to one of her old tricks: manipulation. She was trying to convince me to invest in her new business, trying to convince me how great it was going to be, promising, definitely fake, to make me a shareholder. She also said, "It's not like we need you or something. We have enough as it is. It's just that you are my sister, and I thought that this might be an excellent opportunity for you." Oops, wrong move, sissy. I declined her offer. She was trying to convince me that I need her instead of the other way around. Classic narcissist move, trying to outplay the current situation. It was difficult to resist the urge of smacking her across the face or pushing her into a pool or something. I politely declined her offer once again, and then she kept on saying how I would benefit from her company. She needed me, lol. So I said in a loud voice, "For the last time, I am not interested." I could hear her muffled voice from the other side of the door cursing me. But oh my, slamming the door shut in front of her was a wish come true. I have always wanted to do that, lol. I knew that she would try to stalk me, show up at my workplace, and even have private gatherings with me and my friends. Each day, her tone would slightly change from, "You need me," to, "It's mutually beneficial." Aha, come on, don't be shy, spill the truth. Then one day, she arrived at my doorstep once again, dropping her ego and confessing how much she needed me. She tried to remind me of the good old times. Even though I repaid everything with interest, I gave her $500 as a leave me alone token and slammed the door shut. Again, I thought that was the end of her shenanigans, but nope. She always finds new ways to surprise me. My sister wasn't the only person who has been trying to wreck my life. As it turned out, my overthinking mind was right. It predicted that a person close to my heart was going to leave me. Let's modify it. I left this person for a very good reason. Today at 8 p.m., I received the best 22nd birthday gift ever. I got a happy birthday text from my sister with a lot of weird emojis. That's the first time after so many years. Either way, I put my phone in my purse and went home. Little did I know that my husband and sister arranged for the surprise of my life. When I reached home, the first thing I noticed was a half-cut red velvet cake. My husband is not adept in flower language, so I didn't pay much attention. Just near the door, I saw discarded clothes of a man and a woman. There were red trousers, a red blazer, a gray shirt, and then there was a fiery red gown and a red bra. That's not a good prank. The door was unlocked, and I pushed the door and saw that my husband was peacefully sleeping in bed. Sitting beside him was my sister, bare and smirking at me. She cocked an eyebrow and mouthed, "Surprise, little sister." At first, I was numb. I didn't process any emotion. Slowly, one by one, I was hit with intense sadness and a sense of betrayal. Hot tears flowed down my cheeks. Slowly, I felt anger that soon transferred into an intense rage. I let out a blood-curdling scream that woke up my husband. He saw me and gave me the classic, "I can explain" look. But that wasn't going to work. Not now. Not ever. I was about to throw something at them and the bouquet was in my hand. I looked at the flowers and then at my sister. Everything was crystal clear. My sister had planned it all. I was having one of those episodes and started smashing things here and there. I couldn't physically harm them to avoid being sued, so I kept throwing away stuff that belonged to him. My husband was terrified by the sight and begged me to stop, but I didn't. I didn't even let them change, just threw the bed sheets on them and kicked them out. After kicking them out, I told my husband, "I cut off ties with my sister long ago, but now this door is forever closed to you." And then I slammed the door and ran to the bathroom. I turned on the shower and sat on the floor, letting the water run down my skin, soaking my clothes. As I'm writing this portion of the situation, I am crying. After an hour of numbness, I cannot see the text properly, so forgive me for all the grammatical errors. That's all I can write for now. Update 1. Hey Redditors. I am overwhelmed by all the supportive responses I'm getting. It's been a week and I'm still processing everything. Today, my husband showed up at my doorstep. He started playing the victim card. My sister has been an influence on him. He demanded to return all his stuff. He's packing up while I'm updating you guys. Update 2. Hi, guys. I know a lot of you had advised me to sue both of them, and I did. My lawyers are handling the whole suing and divorce thing. Things are going to get ugly. Update 3. The procedure was lengthy and tricky, but eventually we won. We are officially divorced now, and I have appealed for a restraining order against both of them. It was hard to part with my husband, but it was necessary. I need some time to move on, and I am still in therapy. Thank you all for being there for me. I'm grateful for your support. NTA. Every time I read this, my hatred for your sister grows day by day. Same case for your husband, but a little less than what I feel for your sister. They will rot in hell. NTA, that's my girl. I cannot even fathom understanding what you are going through, but all I can say is you are healing day by day. I have been there too. It's painful at first, but eventually you overcome it. More power to you. Next story. I, 30, female, have a daughter that we will call Marley, 3, female, with my husband that we will call Jake, 32, male. We live a very comfortable life, and we're even blessed enough that I can stay at home with Marley. I go to therapy. I have a lot of unresolved trauma that requires it. Jake normally watches our daughter while I attend my sessions, but he had something pop up for work the same day as my therapy session. I didn't want to, but I contacted my mother, 55, female, to see if she'd be willing to help out while I attend my session for an hour. My mom and I have a strange relationship. We can go as far as to say I had everything I needed that money could buy as a child, but I never had emotional support growing up, and I would have rather had that than money. She's still married to my dad, 63, male, but she never lets him speak his piece about anything unless it's to take her side in the situation. I contacted my mother to see if she could watch my daughter, as therapy is a necessity for me. I don't tell my parents this, but their emotional unavailability is part of the reason I attend, other than stuff that happened to me in my early 20s. I didn't even get a polite, no, sorry, from her, but a big sigh followed by a, don't I do enough for you? I didn't see that coming because we hardly ask her to watch my daughter, and she hasn't seen her in 3 weeks, and that was a family function, not a watching her affair. I told her it was just for an hour, and before I could finish, she said, you know, when you were younger, I didn't have a mommy to lead on when I needed a break. I did it all on my own. So you need to buck up and be a mother. I told her, the point of a good parent is to provide your child with better than what you had, and that doesn't stop after 18. I believe that you deserved a break too when you raised me, whether you think you did or not. If Molly were in my situation, I would provide her all the breaks she needed as long as I'm not raising her child. She got mad and told me to shut up and hung up on me. My dad texted me and told me that I pushed it too far and triggered my mother, even though I told her she deserved a break. Jake thinks I did the right thing by standing up for myself, but could have gone about it a better way. AITA here? Edit. It's not her saying no that made me mad. I would have taken a simple no. I snapped at the don't I do enough for you phrase. Even if I gave my daughter the world, I'd never throw that in her face. Edit 2. I just found out my therapist does telemed, and I wish I had figured that out before it came to all of this. I will, in fact, be attending my session from home while Marley naps. Wow, I'm a little shocked by the YTA comments, except I'm not. This is a super toxic sub, and you shouldn't post here. But people trying to make themselves look good while being awful is entertaining to me, so I watched like a train wreck. And my dad proceeds to beat me with jumper cables. So, first, your request was reasonable. The response was typical, raised by narcissist drivel about how good you have it by comparison. You clapped back in a way that wasn't exactly appropriate, but you were hurt and angry by the implication that you were a worse mother than your own emotionally unavailable mother. This is a very human response. Don't beat yourself up over it. Honestly, go no contact, as you'll be better off for it. You don't have any support anyway, so do yourself this favor. I assume that the stuff from your 20s was either an assault you're dealing with or an abusive relationship that went on for too long. Good luck. Have suffered childhood trauma in similar form. Not easy. Therapy helps, but unfortunately, no cure. NTA, you got insulted in a sore spot and clapped back against someone who should have been better for you. Do better next time, but forgive yourself. ETA, my first award, thinks kind stranger. I was already responding to someone else, but I'll properly put it here. NTA, all you did was ask such a normal thing of your mom. And when she had the opportunity to politely say no, she proceeds to call you a bad mother and that she had it worse in her day. OP did not stoop to her level with her response. She stood up for herself and called out her mom's behavior. That led her to needing therapy in the first place. Next story. I'm 22, female. My mom wants me to get married. For context, my dad passed away a long time ago and I'm an only child. She's always asking me if I've met someone yet or if I have my eye on anyone in particular, and the answer is always a resounding no. I do want to get married and have kids eventually, but not now. Not when I'm still so young, still figuring out who I am and what my place in the world is. I'm nowhere near ready to be a wife, let alone a mother to another human being entirely dependent on me. When I try to communicate these feelings to my mom, her response is always along the lines of, I won't be here forever. I want to see you settled and to meet my grandkids before I go. This ends up making me feel selfish, guilty, and as though I'm letting her down somehow. My mom often tries to take things into her own hands by introducing me to her friends' sons or by trying to make me sign up to various dating apps, etc. My last straw was this week. I'm currently doing a master's degree, and one of my professors is the same ethnic background as me. We're both Arab. I found this super exciting because the uni I'm studying at is not very ethnically diverse, especially in terms of staff. And so having an Arab professor who specializes in the fields that I'm interested in was so cool to me. And I, of course, immediately told my mom about it. As an immigrant who isn't used to representation in academic spaces, she also found it super exciting and was very proud that I was being taught by him. But then she asked me how old he is, if he's good looking, and you can probably see where this is going. I didn't know whether to start hysterically laughing or screaming. I told her, no, you are not going to play matchmaker right now. This is my professor and I'm not interested. She didn't listen. She kept trying to convince me that it was meant to be. She looked like she was already planning the wedding in her head. I love her so much, literally more than anything in the world, but I couldn't take it anymore, and I told her she was making me regret telling her. He's my professor, and that's weird enough. But even if he wasn't my professor, he isn't my type. He's too old for me, and I'm not ready to marry anyone right now, regardless. Her response was the same. I won't be here forever, rant. But this time with, you can't be so picky, otherwise you'll never get married, sprinkled on top. I just hung up. I know my mom's intentions are pure, so I feel unjustified in my anger, yet I can't help feeling it. AITA for upsetting her, possibly overreacting to the situation. NTA, your mother is a typical example of what toxic parents do, i.e., guilt tripping you to get what she wants. She doesn't respect you or your ability to make your own decisions. And you have done absolutely the right thing by expressing your boundary to her. At the extreme end, people have low contact with toxic parents for a reason. Opinion 2. NTA, mom needs to stay in her lane. You have every right to be irritated. I hope she's not the type to go behind your back and email this guy trying to get something up. As a professor, his contact information is going to be available on the university's website, so you may want to give him a warning. First, it would be completely inappropriate for a professor and his student to have a relationship, and your mom needs to understand that. Second, laws of attraction. She can't force an attraction between two people. It's one thing to introduce you to others, but then she needs to back off. Third, you said you're not ready for a relationship, period. And the whole, I won't be here forever, that's so manipulative. No one is given forever. I could get hit by a bus this afternoon. Next story. I'm 21, female. My girlfriend is 25, female. And I both really love to cook and share what we make with each other all the time. But she always gives me super small portions. Think 10 ragatoni noodles or 4 bites of stroganoff, not even enough for a snack. I don't want to seem ungrateful, but it has always bothered me. My culture is big on sharing food. Guests never leave without an offer for seconds and as much food as they'll take. You have to be generous, insist people take more, and make them feel like it's no trouble. Whenever I pack her anything, it's always a full portion. And so while I really cherish her food, it stings. Tonight I went to my girlfriend's house, and on my way out, she offered to give me some chili she made. As expected, it was about 4 to 6 bites total. Her mom saw the portion and went, "That's so little. What's wrong with you?" and made her go fill up the container. Here's where I may be the a-hole. We discussed this incident on the phone later. Girlfriend called mom overbearing for making her go fill the container. I went ahead and told her it actually did hurt that she always gave me small portions. It made me feel like either she didn't want to give me any food, so gave the smallest portion possible, or she didn't have enough to be sharing with me, so that was all she could give, which I know to be not true most of the time, but still. Both make me feel really bad about taking anything. I pointed out the cultural background and that whenever I give her any food, it's always a full portion. So the fact that it's not reciprocated does hurt. There have been times she offered to make me lunch for work, which ended with me getting a toddler-sized meal and having to go hungry. She defended herself, saying that she doesn't like to give away much if it isn't as good as she wants it to be, which was the case with the chili. She said in her mind, giving someone food means sharing a little taster, like a Costco free sample. And she did it this way because she wouldn't want someone to be saddled with a full portion of food they didn't like. I told her while I am grateful and really love her cooking, this is not how most people view offering someone something to eat, and pretty poor etiquette, especially to someone from my background. She said she understood and was sorry and that she hadn't never thought of it from another perspective. But I could tell she was a little upset at the implication that she was being stingy and oblivious to social norms. I feel like I was justified, but also like TA for complaining about the portion size of free food gifted to me in the first place. So AITA? Edit. For those who are mentioning diet, my girlfriend always offers me seconds and has never made any comments about my portion size when we physically eat together. We are also both regular gym goers with similar body types and weight almost the same. So I could not imagine she'd be trying to control my weight. NTA, she offered to make you lunch and then gave you a taster, Costco-sized sample? Her own explanation doesn't make sense. Forget sharing. Why would she not give you a proper lunch, whether or not it was up to her exacting standards? NTA, if I ever offer someone food to take home, it is at least a lunch-sized portion for an individual, or enough slices of cake, slice, etc. if it's a family. I don't know about the cultural side of things. They say Aussies don't have any, but if a host is stingy, everyone here notices. Stay tuned for more stories from Argo Relationships.